call them nuggets because they're little tiny things that you have to remember. This is 2.4, graphing absolute value functions. Okay? The easiest one, we're going to start off with the standard form. Y equals absolute value of x. Notice now we have a y. Okay? It can also be rewritten as f of x is equal to absolute value of x. Okay? They're the same thing. I don't want you to get tripped up when you see f of x instead of y. They are the same thing. Okay? Old days, you could make a T-chart. Okay? If I was asking you to graph it and in detail and make a T-chart, you would put in 5 points like this. If I stick in -2 for x, what do I get for y? Say again, I take -2 and I plug it in for x. Take the absolute value, what do I get for y? 2, 1, 0, 1, and 2. So if I graph this, here's the vertex at 0, 0, right there. And then at 1, 1, 2, 2, -1, 1, and 2, -2, 2, here's the graph of y equals absolute value of x. Looks like a V. We call this standard width. This is the standard width. This is kind of the graph from which every other absolute value originates. This is the standard width graph. You don't have to do a T-chart on every single problem. This is just this one that I'm asking you to do a T-chart to kind of show you where those points come from. You could do a T-chart on every single one of them. It would get very tedious. Okay? Luckily, we have a much easier way of graphing. I'm going to erase this and move on. Has everybody got this? The only problem with working on this board is I don't have much room. I can write it over. All right. The form that we use more than anything else is y equals a, absolute value of x minus h, absolute value plus k. Now that looks harder than what we just did, but really it's not. A is a coefficient in front of the absolute value. It is a number. It can be written there, it cannot be written there. It might be 1, it might be understood to be there. It could be positive, it could be negative. We'll talk about that in a second. H is the number inside the absolute value symbol. Notice there's a negative in front of that. That'll be important in just a minute. K is the number that's written on the outside. Okay? Sometimes it's written in the front. We'll talk about that later. But this is the standard form of an absolute value. This is how we're going to use, this is what we're going to use to graph from now on. All right? The first thing, if A is positive, then the graph goes up. If A is positive, then the graph of the absolute value is up. Some people get confused on what up and down is. Notice I have the 2 arrows and they are pointing up. The V is opening up. Okay? Commit that to your memory. If A is negative, then what? It's going down. The only other choice. If A is positive, then it's going up. If A is negative, then it's going down. Okay? Those 2 little things you've got to memorize. You've got to be able to tell. Alright, let's talk about A a little bit more. A has the most going on. If A is greater than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, any number bigger than 1, then the graph becomes narrower. It tightens up. If A is 2, then it gets a little narrower. If A is 3, it gets a little narrower. If A is 10, still narrow. As A is bigger, if it's bigger than 1, then the graph is narrow. These are all these notes about A. If A equals 1, didn't it equal 1 over here? Wasn't A positive and it equals 1 over here? Then what is it? What kind of width is it? Standard, write that down. Then the graph is standard. A standard graph kind of looks like it's a 90-degree angle. Right there, you don't put a box there, but in your head you think perfect 90-degree angle, just kind of tilted. Okay? And the word is standard. That is the standard width. When A is 1, that's standard. Because here's A is 1, and that's a nice standard. Notice how it cuts quadrant 1 and it cuts quadrant 2 right in half. It's a perfect standard width. All right, what's our only other choice? What's left? If A is greater than 1 and if A equals 1, what's the next one going to be? Less than 1 but bigger than what? 0. If A is in between 0 and 1, meaning like 1/2 or 2/3 or 4/5 or 7/8, then what's going to happen to your graph? It's going to be wide. It's going to be really wide. I'm going to say wide. So like I said, A tells you a lot. A tells you up or down. A tells you standard, narrower, or wide. I'm fixing to do an example, which we'll use all of this. We've got to talk about H and K first. Any questions on A? It'll make more sense, I think, once we do an example. Okay? Any questions on A? All right, let's talk about H and K. Every graph has a vertex right here, and that vertex has an X and a Y, like 3, 2, or 4, 5. That is the same as H and K. H and K give us the vertex. Okay? So how can we glean that information? How can we get that information out of the way that it's written? Well, any number that's inside the absolute value is going to be our H. That's our horizontal shift. That's telling us which way to move left and right. The number on the outside is K. That's our Y value. That's telling us what? Up or down. So this one tells us left and right. This one tells us up and down. You're exactly right. We have to be I think that's what you're saying. We have to be very, very careful. This negative, we have to do the opposite. Write it down in your notes. It'll make sense in a minute. We're going to do the opposite of what's inside the absolute value. We're going to do the same on the outside of the absolute value. No, I'm throwing a lot at you. I promise when we do an example, it'll make better sense. All right, so Y equals absolute value of X plus 3 minus 2. This is a problem on the test. I just made out the test. This is on the test. So there's an absolute value function, and it's asking you to be able to tell me what the vertex is. Here's your X value. Here's your Y value. All right, so what's the vertex going to be? Remember, we have to do the opposite inside, and do the same on the outside. What's it going to be? Not 3, negative 3, negative 2. Negative 3, negative 2. Write that down. That is the vertex for this function. Why is it negative 3? Because we do the opposite in here. This is telling us left and right. If I were to graph that, I'd go 1, 2, 3 to the left, and I'd go down 2. And there it is right there. Let's go ahead and finish the graph. Is it going to go up, or is it going to go down? What's this graph going to do? It's going up. Is A positive or is it negative? It's positive 1. It's understood to be a positive 1 there. So I say again, is it going up or is it going down? It's going up. Is it standard, narrower, or wider? It's standard because it's equal to 1. So here's your standard graph. And that is it. That's all you have to do. You have to be able to give me the vertex. You have to be able to tell me, is it going up or down? And you have to be able to tell me, is it standard,